Guys, welcome back. So today we're going to do a little review of a new product that came into the shop over the last couple of weeks, a new addition to our wedge matrix. So we've done very well with the Ping Glide 2.0 wedges over the last year or so, year and a bit, however long they've been out.
Bestseller?
By far.
Yeah.
The best seller in our shop by far. The type of customer we see, someone who could benefit from a little bit of protection on the odd mishit with wedges, with still excellent control on spin and launch, excellent versatility with grind options and that type of thing. By far, the 2.0 has been our best selling wedge.
Nice.
So when Ping announced the Glide Forged, I was pretty excited to see it, to try it. It was fun for me. A good friend of mine, Andrew Rice, he was a big part of the design team.
Oh, was he?
Him and Stan Utley as
Very
Ping
cool.
advisors were brought in on this one to sort of play a big role in the design elements. Andrew's done an awful lot of wedge testing over the last few years. You know, he had a whole series, and you can still get it online, where he done a lot of testing on wedge technique and you know, basically how to hit the most efficient wedge shots you possibly can hit.
That's cool.
And it was really good. It was
Yeah.
you know, the technical information on it from a delivery standpoint is definitely something that people should seek out if you struggle with your wedges a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's valuable.
He done it over a few years.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I remember.
Wow.
Talking to him a lot about it in the early stages. You know, we done a bunch of testing together. We were doing some testing, you know, dry faces, wet faces on a tee to eliminate any ground elements and a bunch of different fun stuff. So what he ended up with was really fun. So Andrew has a lot of knowledge. Stan Utley is renowned for his short game knowledge and expertise. So those are two great guys to bring on as sort of people to help influence the design of these.
Agreed, yeah.
Yeah.
And they look awfully good.
They really do look good.
Yeah,
There's
really
you know
sharp.
some very typical sort of Ping elements to it. The finish is the same as the original Glide 2.0.
Yep.
They added a couple of things. The new tungsten weight in the toe.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yep. So as obviously it's no longer a cavity back. So that by moving the weight out there kind of offsets the weight of the hosel, which makes the MOI of the club higher.
So versus doing it this way with the cavity.
Rather than doing it that way. So I would imagine, to be honest, they're probably still very forgiving by offsetting that weight.
Interesting.
So yeah, smart. If you look down the specs, you'll actually see the Glide Forged are lower bounce than a lot of the options.
Yeah.
So we found that, didn't we?
This was a 12, the 2.0, and this was a 10?
This was the 10. That's the highest bounce they do in the Forged. And it was actually, it led to some pretty interesting results in the 56 that we'll sort of get to in a little bit.
Yeah.
But overall, you know, great looking wedge, isn't it?
They look really good. They feel really nice. I don't think Glide 2.0's felt, you know, poor in comparison by any means.
For sure.
Definitely a difference in feel. I think you'll notice these maybe feel a little softer, but I honestly think people will buy them because they look so good.
Yeah.
If that's the difference for you. They perform well, obviously, but I don't know that. I think it depends. If you're like a forged wedge person, maybe this is what you've been waiting for. Well, but I can't imagine any other reason why that would be such an appealing thing, right?
Right. And I think for a lot of people, they're going to you know, like the look of it. Then they might see the price tag. And that's one thing to notice. So here in Canada, for example, we sell Glide 2.0 for $189.
Right.
The Glide Forged retails in Canada for $90 more.
More, yeah, per wedge. So you're going to buy 3 wedges most of the time. So it's going to cost you an awful lot more money to get these bad boys.
$270 more. So quite a significant extra investment. So you know, that's something to always obviously build into it. So let's have a look at the results. So we measured 56 and 60 on both, the Glide 2.0 and the Glide Forged. We measured full shots and partial. So let's have a look at the 60 performance. Interestingly enough, basically every time we hit the Forged and the 2.0, we always get a little more ball speed from the 2.0.
Yeah, at least a mile or two, usually.
A little bit extra. So on the 60-degree partial shots, we had about a mile an hour extra ball speed. Negligible differences in spin. I mean, 40, there were 39 RPMs difference in spin.
Yeah, nothing.
No. So around that 45-yard mark.
So we're just getting a little more ball speed based on the design of this. little cavity here.
It would appear so.
It's designed to do that, and it seems to.
Yeah.
As best we can test with me hitting them, but
right. So then on the full shots, we were going for about around 90 yards, weren't we? 90 yards on the fly, certainly.
Yeah.
And when we saw a 3-yard carry distance gain with the cavity over the forged. Interesting, pretty similar in spin. There wasn't too much going on. There was a 1 degree difference in launch angle, but again, not enough for us to really kind of say there was too much different going on.
No.
Okay, Matty. So looking at the 56, quite a similar story on ball speed. Little bit of a difference in terms from the 2.0 and the forged. 2.0 is just fractionally faster.
Yeah.
With the 56. On the full shots, about 1 mile an hour. On partial shots, about 1.5 miles an hour. Right. We found. So not surprised to see that at all. On the spin, this was the interesting thing that we really found, wasn't it?
Yes, this is where we saw some kind of almost strangely low spin numbers from this guy.
Strange but consistent, because it happened when we hit the full shots and the partial shots. Is you gained quite a bit of spin with the 2.0 over the forged.
And we did to the point where I went and re-hit all the shots again because I thought something must have been wrong with how I was hitting them.
And it done the exact same thing.
They just kept spinning around 10,000-ish versus 11 and a bit with the 2.0.
Yeah. So while we can keep as many of these things consistent, as we can, we had the loft the same, the lie the same, the length the same. The shaft was slightly different, but we know shafts don't influence the ball in that way.
Certainly not enough, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, the biggest difference was the slightly more bounce on the Glide 2.0, which was the 5612, which is the SS, the standard sole on that one. And the 5610, you weren't quite as efficient, by the looks of it with that one.
You wonder why, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You
maybe got in the turf a little bit more than the other one did.
Yeah, perhaps, just a little different interaction with the same golf ball. So, all of those variables that you would think would play a role, we were controlling all of them. So it was literally just club to club. You found that you spun the Glide 2.0 a little bit more.
Yep.
So it was,
if someone can test them in the same bag, you're going to do, as part of a wedge fitting, which you recommend, you're going to try all these different things anyway. Of course. And your results may vary, but something to keep in mind.
Definitely.
Bounce is going to make a big difference.
It's one thing that I've really seen, one of the reasons I guess Glide 2.0 has been so good for is that it has the elements of being a slightly more forgiving cavity back wedge, but that's on the back side because of the way they've thinned out the back. But from the front of the face, it spins.
Yeah, we got tons of spin.
It has a really high spin profile, which is great. So, you get the best of both worlds, lots of control around the greens on partial shots, and also tons of forgiveness if you don't quite hit it in the middle, which, we've seen, I'm not sure, if you guys have seen, much slow-mo footage of wedges. Most people strike their wedges on the toe side.
Yeah.
When you see lots of bunker shots, there's lots of kind of rotation with wedges, and most people will strike it slightly toe side with a wedge. So, it's definitely something you want to have is a little bit more spin for most people.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Distance-wise, the little bit extra ball speed was able to give you a few more yards in the partial shots, not much. But other than that, fairly standard stuff. The biggest difference that you found between the two was just the spin rates. That was really it, wasn't it?
With the 56, really a lot of difference in spin.
Yeah.
But consistently more ball speed, obviously, out of the Glide 2.0.
Yeah.
Tons of spin. It's kind of like what you said while we were hitting. You said it's pretty much the best wedge that is out there because it's just good at everything.
I really do believe it's the best all-around wedge in the market right now.
Yeah.
I really think it's fantastic. I think it just does everything well.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe you use those if you use the 2.0 and the gap wedge and the sand wedge, maybe use this guy in the 60 if you like the look of it, something like that.
I think it's going to catch a lot of people's attention. The way like you almost have like a combo set of irons, and these are almost like a combo set of wedges. Yeah. Which is where you have the forgiveness of the 2.0 where you need it, and then if you do want slightly more of a we don't want to call it a dead feel. There's not that much difference in ball speed, but that's what you're going to get from the blade wedge versus the cavity is a slightly more solid feel.
Gotcha.
Out of that. So if that's your preference to have the blade in the 60 or 58, that type of thing, I can see that making sense for a lot of people.
Yep, sounds good.
But it's a high performer. It's just another good wedge. I think a lot of people are going to really like the looks of it and aesthetics. Aesthetics with the wedges play a part.
I think so.
They really do. It's we control obviously the performance, but a lot of people are going to love the look of that.
Yeah. And if you're willing to put up the extra $80-$100, I think that's the reason you're going to do it, because they look amazing.
Just about to say that. Whether you love the price tag quite as much, we'll wait and see.
Another story.
That's up to you guys to decide that, like anything else. But performance-wise, very good, and another good addition to the Ping line to go with the new irons, the new i500s, the new i210s. We're
some more good-looking stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a bit more kind of in-depth stuff with that over the next little while. So
I haven't even got to hit these yet.
I know. We're waiting and getting you your lefty love samples. We've had some really good results with both of those sets so far. i500, I think a lot of people will be really keen to try. Yeah. Looks really sharp, but to be honest, I don't sleep in the i210. Yeah. That is an excellent iron.
You were happy with these from the
Really
beginning.
happy with those. Yeah. That's a really consistent iron. I mean, I'm not one to fall in love with the whole kind of massive ball speed on irons sort of concept anyway. I think your irons you need to go the relevant distances and have the right, characteristics, launch, spin, consistent ball speed, that sort of thing. It's not all about just nuking your irons as far as they can. So I think that the 210s will be good for a lot of guys out there who are looking for that type of performance.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, good. Okay, guys, just a quick review. Wanted to just introduce the Ping Glide Forged to you guys, let you know our thoughts on it, like it, tested very well. Let us know if you guys have had a chance to try it, if you feel anything different with it.
Definitely.
The 8620 softer material in there, maybe gave you a slightly different feel. Who knows? So let us know your thoughts.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Guys, thanks so much for watching. See you soon.